More than 400,000 years ago, beings unlike any people alive today moved across the frozen plains of Europe and Western Asia. They endured brutal climate swings, winters that seemed endless, earth that split and reshaped beneath their feet, a world carved by advancing glaciers and roaring volcanic fire. These were the Neanderthals, our closest extinct human relatives. For ages, their story remained hidden, sealed beneath rock, dust, and time itself. Then, roughly 40,000 years ago, the final Neanderthal took their last breath. A lineage that thrived for nearly 500,000 years, faded into history, yet they never vanished completely. Their echoes remain, in the caves they sheltered in the tools they crafted, and even in the DNA carried by millions of people today. Piece by piece, science has begun to reconstruct their vanished world, revealing lives shaped not only by hardship, but by intelligence, creativity, and extraordinary adaptability. Thanks to modern discoveries, their existence is no longer a blur of guesswork. And what we're learning feels far more human than anyone ever imagined. Origins, how a human lineage began. To truly understand Neanderthals, we must return to Africa, to the earliest days of the genus Homo. Around 2 million years ago, Homo habilis, the skillful human, appeared, creating the first simple stone tools. As climates shifted and environments transformed, evolution pushed forward. From this emerged Homo erectus, the first human species to journey out of Africa, spreading across Europe and Asia. Those wanderers eventually gave rise to Homo heidelbergensis, strong, clever, and built for survival. From them, 2 branches split: Neanderthals in Europe and Western Asia, and Homo sapiens in Africa, 2 parallel human worlds growing and evolving side by side. A world of ice and fire. Neanderthals took shape during the Pleistocene ice ages, one of the harshest chapters in Earth's recent history. Massive ice sheets covered much of Europe, but when the ice withdrew, vast grasslands appeared, alive with mammoths, bison, and woolly rhinos. Survival here demanded far more than brute strength. It required planning, teamwork, resourcefulness. And Neanderthals excelled at all 3. They weren't primitive cave dwellers. They were specialists in thriving where most life would fail. Life and culture, the human behind the bones. Archaeology paints a vivid picture of their daily lives. Neanderthals chose camp locations with purpose. Near water, near migration paths, and near natural shelters that offered protection from storms and predators. Their choices reveal memory, strategy, and a deep understanding of seasonal changes. They built controlled fires for warmth, cooking, and safety. They organized their camps into sleeping areas, workspaces, and activity zones, evidence of social structure and cooperation. Using the Mousterian technique, they created sharp, efficient tools for every task. Groups were usually small, 10 to 30 individuals, but when clans encountered each other, their meetings may have included shared meals, rituals, storytelling, and the exchange of knowledge. These rare gatherings helped maintain genetic diversity, crucial for long-term survival. Tools. The hidden genius of Neanderthals. Through time, their technology grew increasingly sophisticated. They perfected the Levallois technique, a deliberate method of shaping stone cores to produce long, razor-edged flakes. This wasn't guesswork. It required planning, geometry, and an understanding of fracture patterns. They also crafted wooden spears, balanced for both thrusting and throwing. Tests with replicas show some could be launched over 20 meters, with surprising accuracy. These were not crude weapons. They were engineered instruments, products of intelligent, practiced craftsmanship. Hunting, masters of the Ice Age. Neanderthals hunted some of the most imposing animals on Earth: mammoths, giant bison, woolly rhinos, wild horses, reindeer. They hunted in coordinated groups, studying migrations, following tracks, and using cliffs, valleys, and rivers to trap or corner prey. Their diet was heavy in meat, fat, and bone marrow, but also included plants, nuts, roots, and coastal foods. Their powerful bodies needed huge amounts of energy, so food gathering was a constant priority. Hunting giants was dangerous. Many Neanderthal skeletons show healed fractures, proof that injuries were common and that their communities cared for the wounded. They looked after one another. They survived together. They lived as humans do, the human within, art, emotion, and meaning. Far from emotionless brutes, Neanderthals had rich inner lives. Evidence shows they buried their dead, left flowers on graves, used pigments, wore ornaments, and created symbolic objects. These acts hint at memory, identity, and possibly early spiritual beliefs. They felt more, understood more, and expressed more than the stereotypes ever allowed. Clothing, building warmth from nature. While no Neanderthal clothing survives, their tools reveal their skills. They scraped hides clean, softened them with fat, likely smoked them to preserve them, and shaped them into fitted garments. In European winters, they may have covered nearly 90% of their bodies. Their clothing was not crude. It was adapted, intentional, and effective. Another example of their ingenuity. When humans met Neanderthals, around 70,000 years ago, Homo sapiens began entering Eurasia. For a time, both species shared the same lands. They competed, cooperated, traded, and learned from each other. And yes, they interbred. Today, people outside Africa carry 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA. This discovery transformed our understanding. Neanderthals didn't disappear completely. A part of them continues within us. Extinction. What truly ended their story? Around 40,000 years ago, Neanderthals vanished. Why? Not because they lacked intelligence, not because they couldn't adapt, and not because Homo sapiens were superior. Researchers believe multiple pressures collided: abrupt climate shifts, shrinking food sources, increasing competition, low population density, possible diseases. They were strong and resourceful, but the world around them changed too rapidly. Their extinction wasn't a failure. It was a tragedy of timing and circumstance. Legacy, the echo that lives on. As new fossils emerge, and ancient DNA continues to unlock secrets, Neanderthals are stepping out of the shadows. They were explorers, hunters, makers of tools, carers of family, children learning, adults teaching, elders guiding. They were undeniably human. Their story lives on, in our bodies, in our genes, and in the landscapes they once called home. When we look back at them honestly, we uncover something profound. Neanderthals weren't a failed branch of humanity. They were another version of it. A reminder that the human story has always been broader, richer, and far more interconnected than we ever imagined. If you loved this journey into our ancient past and want more hidden stories from history and evolution, remember to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new documentary. And tell us in the comments, what surprised you most about the Neanderthals? Your curiosity shapes what we explore next. Thank you for watching. And until next time, stay curious.